this team, Memphis and Penn, they're pretty well matched.
Uh-huh. Well, it looks like the score is pretty close.
33-35, so.
Penn State side of midfield at the 49. See him right here working the other side, swim to the side.
Joyce, do you know anybody that uses bath salt?
No.
Nobody takes a tub bath?
No one that I know of. Why?
The maid gave me a package of it, and I think there's 3 or 4 or 5 bottles in it, and you have to have a tub to use it.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder what she was thinking. I don't know of anyone that would do that.
I don't know.
Unless it were the girls, you know, Chloe and Julia. Where do you want your salt and pepper?
Up there. That's almost,
you want it to sit
yeah,
right
but
there?
it's almost gone.
All right, do you want me to take it out of this package?
So I was thinking, how long have you known Nona? When did you first meet Nona?
In 8th grade,
What school?
Woodward Wilson Junior High,
Were you in the same grade? I see.
the same grade, and then she invited me to go to InterVarsity Christian Fellowship.
Uh-huh.
So I met a lot of the Christian kids in the singing and all, and going to that in the afternoon.
I see.
Yeah,
Where did she go to church at that time?
Lake Avenue.
Oh,
They
she
were
was...
married at Lake Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And-
that was it.
Grew up at Lake Avenue?
Hmm?
Nona grew up at Lake Avenue?
Yeah.
Her parents went there?
She was at Lake Avenue when she met Nona. I met Laddie and Laddie's sister. And Laddie's sister and her were real close.
And what grade was that?
Huh?
What grade was that? When did she meet him?
In 9th grade.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So she's been more like a sister than a friend all this time.
Sure.
We've always lived within a mile of each other.
pretty close.
She lived in where that old, on Rosemead Avenue, where that A&W was right there by, it was Blanche at that time.
Okay.
And she walked to Wilson, and I lived on Blanche Street at that time.
Okay.
And so I walked to Wilson. So we were very close. And then her father wanted to know if I would iron his shirts. So he used to bring me the shirts, and I would iron his shirts. And he worked for the gas company. And so that's how we became close friends. Yeah. And so, and Laddie always lived in this sort of the center of Pasadena, Michigan. And
Okay.
so, yeah, he went to Marshall. And so they met at church. Yeah. So she's just been like a sister then in Altadena. When we bought a house up on Altadena Drive, she was around the corner on Deverian. And then when I bought a house in Hastings Ranch, she was on Lambert, just about
Right.
a mile and a half away.
Right.
So we always lived real close to each other. And Laddie and Frank were real good friends. You know. And when he got real sick, Laddie used to come and take him to the doctor in the wheelchair. So, been a lot of years.
Yeah. Now, you went to Pasadena High School?
Yes. Both
Okay.
of us.
And it was at the same...
No, we didn't go to high school. We went to PCC. There was no high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of different.
We went downstairs. We walked to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you met her in the 8th grade, your father was dead then, right? It was just your mother.
He had just died a year ago.
Okay.
Because he died when I was in the 7th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what type of work?
I was always a year younger than her.
Okay.
Because in LA I skipped the 2nd grade.
Okay.
So that may be a year younger in age, but in the same grade. They skipped me. Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
They found out that wasn't a good idea.
You want your cookies down here?
If they'll go, yeah.
Where do you want your Scotch tape?
Over here.
Okay.
I was trying to get this undone, and every time I tried, it would get stuck again. Terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a very good one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Wonderful. 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 Can you imagine trying to do a package with that other kind? Because you couldn't let go of it, or you couldn't get it back up again.
No. It doesn't even look like you can get it undone.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just throw that away.
But it worked fine now. Yeah.
Well, what type of work did your dad do?
My dad worked at Douglas Aircraft. He was a mechanic at Douglas Aircraft.
Okay.
And
Here, you can choose which one you like best for Yvonne. And save the other
And
one.
sometimes he worked. Sometimes he worked the graveyard shift, and sometimes he worked the day shift. They traded off things, and he also did a little bit in the tool place where he would substitute for some people, and they're handing out tools to some of the people who would come to get tools, and at Douglas and he would walk to Douglas because we lived in Lakewood Village then. And then later on he found a ride up in Pasadena, and they rode together to there.
Did he do other things too earlier on? Did he do other work before Douglas?
He was a crossing guard when I was going to school in LA.
Okay.
And then they were calling people because of the war.
Okay.
And when we lived in Lakewood Village, I think we lived there about a year before the war really broke out.
Okay.
And he was already working at Lockheed.
Okay.
But they came through and they had on the corner by us, about maybe 10 houses away, was a camp for soldiers.
Okay.
And they had a big high thing to watch for people with airplanes coming in.
Sure.
And so our whole street was camouflaged. So you couldn't see the sky, nothing. And he was one of the night watchmen.
Did he also work at the Pike, at Long Beach Pike?
That's before he was married.
Oh, okay.
That's where he met my mother.
At the Pike?
Yeah, because she was working as a worker.
Okay.
An employee. Yeah.
All right.
And then they escaped to Yuma, Arizona and got married.
Okay.
Yeah. And that
Escaped.
made my grandmother very mad.
Okay.
Because at that time, we thought he was about 12 years older than her.
Right.
But then later on, after he died and we got his birth certificate, we found out that he was 20 years older than her.
Wow. Do you know much about his background?
Well, I know that his mother was pregnant when they came here from Ireland.
Okay.
And they settled in Michigan. And
Okay.
they worked on a potato farm.
Uh-huh.
And he had 5 sisters, and he was the only brother, the last one. And then he moved here when he found out that he could do an ice cream, popcorn, and candy and all that store on the Pike.
Right.
Yeah.
They only had your heartburn stuff in push-out ones. They didn't have the bottles of it, so you'll have to push it out.
Okay, so
Is that okay?
So
But that's your heartburn one where you take it just once.
so that's. I wonder if that's the same kind with this.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, but just you're just going to have to punch them out because I didn't have them in the little bottle.
Okay.
So are you going to be able to do that? Okay, just push it through the back.
That's fine. I'll
Okay.
just I'll just put a
Okay.
few in here,
Okay.
and then this can go on the sink in there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
When he was alive, did he go to church or not?
No.
No. Okay.
No, he don't. I think the only time that he went to church, and I have no proof of that at all.
Where do you want
But,
this?
but on the sink. But you can take them all out of the box because I put them in the drawer.
Okay.
And they were raised as strict Catholic family,
Uh-huh.
but he never went to even the Catholic church. He never went to any of it. And that's the one big argument between Sandy and Pat and me, because they said that they have a Bible, for his Bible, and in the Bible he said that he was a Christian because he belonged to the 32nd degree what are they called? 32nd degree deacons or something like that.
Interesting.
And it doesn't say anything about him being born again. It doesn't say anything about that. And as long as I knew, he never went to a Catholic church. He never went to a Baptist church. He never went to anything. So I always said, you'll have to wait till you get to heaven to find out if he did. And they always say, well, we have proof in his Bible because he was a 32nd degree Mason. And I said, the Masons aren't Christians. And so finally we decided that we wouldn't talk about that anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Do these pillows go up here?
The pillows, I think, are on this side, and that was on the other side.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it when we, not Sandy, but Pat and Shirley and I all got baptized on Easter one time
Uh-huh.
at the First Baptist Church.
Okay.
And the guy that baptized was a Christian, but
Mm-hmm.
George Hill was not,
Okay.
and the pastor. But anyway, so
wasn't?
we found out that they gave us a little thing where we had been baptized and saved by the Spirit.
Uh-huh.
So then when I was at Lincoln Avenue, they had you stand up and reaffirm that you were Christian.
Uh-huh.
So, but my sister never knew about being born again. And so one summer, Frank and I paid for their way to go to Topless Pines.
Uh-huh.
And they heard from, who was that guy that did the fireworks thing at night. And he was known that, but he really, do you remember who did the fireworks and the things at Topless Pine? He was an old man, but
Marty? Wasn't it Marty?
But he wouldn't have, not when they were kids.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But anyway,
No, I don't.
they went there and they accepted the Lord through him, and then they changed churches and went to Lincoln Avenue, and that's where Sandy met Dan, and Frank finally came because Frank didn't go anywhere, and so he came one night. He didn't come with Pat at first. He came one night when they had I can't think of his name. He gave a testimony through the railroads, and the railroads, you could hear the whole noise and all the people accepting the Lord and all this. And they wiretapped something. I think it was called a wiretap something.
Okay.
And he went forward and accepted the Lord. And then he started coming to church with Pat. Yeah. So, anyway, and then Sandy met Dan there. No. And Dan's mom and dad, they had Frank lead a Bible study for the high school kids at their house once a week.
Uh-huh.
And then when the kids needed anything done with their car, they came over to our house for Frank to do whatever it was. So that's how we had. But at that time, we had your student and a whole bunch of them that came, and we had over 200 kids in the high school. And then when we were through with that, and he was the youth director, a temporary youth director, because there was no youth director from Fuller, and Frank Souls, that was the youth director, died. So Frank stepped in for a while. And when we were through I think we were through in 1957, and all the high school kids gave us a trip for 3 days to Catalina.
Wow.
So we went there, and then when we came back the next year, Dr. Lowry was not a good pastor. He was a Christian, but he gave topics that had nothing to do, more like with the world topics. And so I told Frank I could not take that any longer. So I went down to Lake Avenue, and I met Nancy Davenport, and I met Nona, and I met a whole bunch of Bruce Lamb, and a bunch of them that I'd gone to school with. So Frank finished up his youth director for 2 more months, and then he came down there.
I see.
But for the church service at 8 o'clock in the morning, the kids and I went to church, and then we went to Sunday school.
Right.
No, we went to Sunday school, and then he came down for church. And then in 1960, we joined the church there.
Okay.
A lot of history.
A lot of history.
Yeah. I know I asked, I think I asked, I asked somebody if they remembered Aunt Penny, Frank. I think it was Yvonne I asked, and she said no, she didn't remember her. But I remember there was a Aunt Jenny there, and she used to want to hold baby Yvonne all the time. And when she died, she left us $1,000 because, and she was no family at all.
Huh.
She
Who was
lived
that?
with Aunt Fanny, but she was no family.
Who was that?
Jenny, Aunt Jenny. Yeah. So it's amazing.
When did Laddie and Nona get married? What year?
They got married 2 years after we did. So we got married in 52, and they got married in 54.
Okay.
Yeah. So amazing how the time has gone by.
How did you meet Frank?
I met him. I went to a little church with the Davenports that a lot of kids from school went to.
Uh-huh.
They had a good pastor. And it was right on the freeway on Altadena Drive.
Uh-huh.
Not there anymore. And there was a lot of Christian Endeavor kids there.
Okay.
And I'm trying, the guy Gary Demarest, he used to sing, I'd rather have Jesus than anything, and all of these. And afterwards, some of the kids that wanted to go would pile in cars and go to Gwen's down on Colorado Street, a restaurant. And they would all have they'd have a hamburger or whatever, they'd have a Coke, or they'd have a malt or something. And so I went down there. I knew who Frank was because he was almost engaged to a girl at Wilson that I was in my classes.
Uh-huh.
And so, anyway, but she was not very kind to him. So, he came with some other guy down to Gwynn's that night, and I met him. And then this Gloria that he was almost engaged to, came in. She had stolen his car. So that's why he came with other people. And he came in and threw the keys on the table.
She did? She came in? Oh, and threw the keys at Frank. Okay.
So then he said, I would like to take you home. So he took us home.
Uh-huh.
And then this Nancy Davenport said, he wants, I think it was in May, because she said he wants to take you to the beach on the 30th. where we all go. And so she and her boyfriend and Frank and I rode down to the beach, and it was in a roadster. And coming back, they were in the back of the roadster, and we were in the front, and it was windy all the way. And so then after that, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks, then he called for a day. That was it. Yeah. So, very interesting. So, life goes on.
So, you graduated from PCC in
51.
51, okay.
And a whole bunch of us are C kids. And for our after graduation, we went to Chinatown and had dinner up there in Chinatown. A real good dinner. And then we walked around in Chinatown, and Frank brought me some earrings. And I think I gave them to Joyce because they were screw-on in that box that you said, don't throw them away because, didn't you say Annie likes that kind?
For what?
The screw on
Earrings that you just clip on.
They were pretty, the opals? Are you talking about the opal ones?
What?
The opal ones?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're the real, no, the old ones that I gave you a box when we moved.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, well, the only one I know
She likes that
these-
costume jewelry. Yeah, she likes
Yeah.
that.
So, but anyway, just all kinds of things.
Was Frank working at Lockheed when you got married?
He just started.
Okay.
He started, and at nighttime, from 5 o'clock until 7:30, he worked on the corner across from at Lincoln and Altadena Drive at the 76 station, and just getting cars gas, and that was just a little extra money.
So he worked 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So Lockheed during the day and the gas station at night. Wow. When did he sleep? Yeah.
Well, he got through at the gas station at 7:30
Okay.
because they closed.
Okay.
And the only time that he couldn't do that, it was just every so often he would have to work the graveyard shift. And so that was kind of hard coming home at 7:30 and then trying to sleep a little bit and be at work at 12.
Right.
So, but then he would get sleep in the daytime, and we just closed the door and told the kids they had to play in the other room. Yeah. And then Shirley got mixed up with some guy that he wanted to kill her. And they came by our house one night in Altadena, and she said, you cannot call Mother and you cannot call anybody because there's Al in the car, he will kill me. But he did let me tell you that we were going to Las Vegas to get married. And I said, are you sure you want to do this? I can call the police. No, because she said he would come after Mother. So, so we just prayed with her and she left, and I didn't know if we'd ever see her again. But I never did call my mother or anything. And so he got, I think it was 3 days later, he dumped her and found out that she was pregnant. And we took her to the doctor. Frank went and got her, took her to the doctor, and found out that she had pneumonia along with her. And so that's where Kevin was born. And no father, no nothing. And we never did find where he went. But anyway, and so when he was 6 months old, Shirley went back to work at the shopping bag that she was working wrapping meat. And so Carol was Carol she was only 4 months old, and she dropped Kevin off at me every day, so wherever I went, it looked like they were twins.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin went to Sunday school with us, and all of that, so, yeah. And then she'd come and get him at 6 o'clock at night. Yeah. It was an interesting life. I always had kids around because then I ended up with Daniel and then I ended up with Matthew and so, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun times. But Frank always took them on lots of hikes up there by Victory Park and up by JPL and all, and
Mm-hmm.
so they always had fun times. So, yeah, I got 2 cards that came back, and I have no idea who they are. I mean, I have no idea how to contact anybody because I don't know anybody that knows them. And so I figure they both have died. Because Vera McCausland, she would be probably 88 or 89. And she's never forgotten me. So that card came back. And the card from Betty Whitberg came back. But I knew she died on the 4th of December. So, and I don't know if Grace, her sister, they didn't get along real well. So I don't know if she let anybody know, and I don't know if there was a funeral or anything. And then there was this lady in my Bible study group, and she was just the most joyful, happy lady I ever knew. So that's Coleman. And she died the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that she never told anybody that she had cancer.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard from Frank's brother Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard from him lately?
Yeah, he calls me once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got 2
Yeah.
cards from Denise?
What?
You got 2 cards from Denise. 2 cards from Denise.
Oh. One probably had the gift certificate in it.
What did she send you?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he calls us doing pretty good.
Okay.
He has to walk with 2 canes now because he has a little trouble walking.
Uh-huh.
But they don't go anywhere. And he said that the heart's doing pretty good now. And things are kind of balancing out. But he gets really tired. And he doesn't go on walks anymore. And he doesn't go across the street and somewhere to get his mail. So, but he's almost 89. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
I told him he's the oldest Phillips anyway, because it's gone that long, so.
Well, Pauline got into the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his dad died at 65.
Right.
And Billy, his brother, Avery's brother, died at 65. So most of the men all died at about that age. So.
How old was Frank when he died?
He was 80.
80?
Dad? I think he was
Yeah.
like 84, wasn't he?
82?
82. I
He was
think.
over 80.
Yeah. So, yeah, because Bob is 4 years older than him. I mean,
Okay.
about 4 years younger than him.
Okay.
So,
Where did you get married? What church?
we had to get married in the First Baptist Church.
You had to, huh?
Yeah, because my mother wasn't a Christian then.
Uh-huh.
And she insisted that I have George Hill marry us.
Okay.
So, Frank's mom said, just go ahead and do it because you know that the marriage thing is the same at every church.
Sure.
So we went there, and then we went down to Carlsbad and San Diego and all around on our honeymoon. Yeah. And we went to Capistrano because it was in March, and we watched all the birds come back to Capistrano and all that. That was real interesting. So,
Who was in your wedding?
Hmm?
Who was in your wedding?
Pat and Sandy and Shirley and Donna that was still married took off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Donna get married first? Did Bob and Donna get married
They
first?
got married a year before we did.
Oh, okay.
But she had an affair with somebody else that she knew from school in Lancaster. And so they got a divorce. And so I think, and after that, she's been married 3 times. But she's in a home now in Encinitas.
Okay. Were they living up in Lancaster? No. Okay.
Her mother lived in Lancaster.
Oh, okay.
But they always lived in Altadena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And before they divorced, she had 1 child, Linda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that was kind of hard when she married David Williams because it was a real
Who's
strong
Bob?
Christian family. What?
Who's Bob?
I think it's Bob.
Well, you got a card from Bob and
Oh
Betsy.
no, that's Bob Phillips, Mary's husband.
Oh.
He's 94.
And Chuck and Nancy, that's Nancy Davenport? Chuck and Nancy?
Yeah, Davenport.
Yeah, but
It's
she's somebody
Bailey
now.
now.
That's right, Chuck Bailey.
Yeah.
So Linda's mother was Donna. What about the other kids?
They were all Donna's kids.
Oh, they're all Donna's kids. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know that when
Claire and Joe, is that the neighbors?
who?
Claire and Joe, is that our neighbors?
They live next door to me.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. You didn't get anything from the other side?
No, I didn't hear from Barbara Holland either.
Well, I wouldn't expect that you would. I think she's not doing well, but...
Or I didn't hear from Mike and his wife either.
I think it's all moved on.
A lot of people I didn't hear from. I didn't hear from Donna and Wilma Taylor.
Yeah, I
A
saw
lot
that.
of them.
I thought
So-
that too.
Yeah.
Art and Elaine Fowkes?
Who?
Art and Elaine Fowkes?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that the Fowkes?
Yes.
Wow, they got old. They live in North Carolina. Oh, nice.
Yep. Everybody's moved away.
When you first got married, were you renting an apartment or?
We lived on Woodbury Road
Uh
in
huh.
Altadena, and just past what is that mean? Fair Oaks.
Okay.
And Donna probably lived with Lois, and so we did a lot of things together, and so it was a little apartment on a terrible street now, Sunset, and now you would be caught dead going down it.
Well, you never know. Everything changes. It might be a good street
I
now.
don't know.
You just never know.
Well, I don't think Lincoln Avenue Church is there anymore.
Okay.
I think it turned into some kind of I don't know if it's a homeless place or development for homeless or something like that. But I know that Frank's mom and dad and at least 6 of their friends all went to Bethany. Yeah, because they weren't going to take Dr. Lowry anymore either. And they had a really good pastor over there.
But they had Dr. McGee as a pastor for a while.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
And along with him, they had the youth director for Frank and Barbara when they grew up was Stedman, Ray Stedman.
Okay.
And he went to a church that called him in Palo Alto. But he was a great education pastor. We afterwards in the King's Curtis class we had them 1 year for our conference. He was real good. Yeah. And he and Dr. McGee used to get on the kids' night, choir night, and then they would have dinner and have fellowship, and they would go outside and play volleyball on the volleyball court. And both McGee and Stedman both would play volleyball with them. And then when Frank went into service, along with, I think, Byron Bosser, and I think there was 8 or 10 guys that went into service at the same time. And he gave them a book called Prayer by Houseby, and signed it inside that God would protect them and take care of them, and just be sure that he thanked them and prayed to them every day. And he signed it J. Burnham McGee. Yeah.
Who are the Johnsons?
What?
The Johnsons. Who are they?
Tammy and Dave. They were the children of Alice Hobson.
Oh,
And that's her children that have gotten married.
I see.
Yeah.
Marlene Bundy? Wow. I thought she couldn't write or anything.
Marlene?
Yeah.
Well, she
I
had.
thought she had a bad
She's
brain
having
thing.
a hard time, but
Well, her writing was pretty good.
Her son just got a kidney transplant,
Huh.
and they're hoping that it doesn't get worse, or but they do a lot, because a lot of kidney transplants don't last. So that's all I know.
Interesting.
What did your dad die from?
Coronary thrombosis in the heart.
Okay.
He came in on the 21st of, I think it was their anniversary, on the 21st of September, to have lunch. And then after lunch, he went out and mowed the yard. And afterwards, the front yard. And then he sat down on a chair that was on our porch on Mitchalinda. And he just sat there and held his head over and was gone.
Wow. So it was a complete surprise.
Oh, yeah, nobody knew. Pat and Sandy were playing in the yard, and they said, Dad, and he didn't answer, and they went over, and they said, and Mom was washing the dishes, and they said, we think that Dad just died. And she came out, and Dee and Dwayne were supposed to arrive in a little bit. And when they came, then they went to the mortuary with a fellow that they knew from, a Christian fellow that they knew from First Baptist. And did all the separate arrangements. But she wouldn't let us know anything, my mother. So she took us all to the neighbor's house 2 doors away and left us there. and they kept us overnight. And she never would let us go and see him at the funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
No. She wanted us to remember like he was, but I never had a real good relationship with my father because I got blamed for everything by being the oldest. Like a car almost hit Pat on Michelinda Street when she ran after a ball, and he said, "Well, you're the oldest, why didn't you protect her?" And it was always something. And then the reason why I know that he wasn't a Christian too is because he'd say, "If you do one more thing wrong, you're going to the nunnery." And I remember going to sleep at night and crying that I didn't want to go to any nunnery. So I don't know, and he always did walks and curls hair with Sandy had long curls, and he would watch her get her hair curled, but he never did anything with me. They said that he did when I was born because I was the only one, but how do you remember that?
Right.
So it'll be a shock if he's in heaven.
Do you know if Peggy's doing any better?
Who?
Peggy?
Yeah, Peggy. Yeah, she told me she would write a long letter after Christmas.
I was just wondering if she's doing better.
Yeah.
Didn't Frank's dad have a heart attack mowing the lawn too?
My whole family. My grandmother, my grandfather, my father, and my grandmother, all of them had heart trouble. And so that's when I was at the City of Hope. They said, "Well, we'd like you to take Lipitor." And I said, "What is that for?" And they said, "Because it sometimes will protect your heart.
Okay.
And your heart is perfect right now, but you have too many people in your family that all died of heart attacks."
But didn't Frank's dad have a heart attack, but didn't he mow the lawn that day? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. He was dead in the front yard.
Right.
And Frank's mother went out to give him some kind of a drink and saw him, so she immediately called Frank. And he went up there and went to the hospital and took his dad's wallet and his dad's watch and things like that off. And then they told him that the report was that he had like something in his heart that just went. I don't know what it was. Yeah. And Bob has heart trouble, and so they all had heart trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that the report would say that Frank died of cancer, but it says that he died of a bad heart.
Huh.
So all the men and all the women on my side have all died of a bad heart, and both Sandy and Pat have heart trouble.
Okay.
Pat has a malfunction valve, and Sandy has something where you have to take a pill every day to keep your heart rhythm going.
Okay.
And so both of them have that. And Shirley, I know Shirley died of cancer. So I don't know. Yeah. It was too late for her to go to the City of Hope because it had already gone from the colon to the liver. And Dr. Rimaki, he said, I'm going to try to get into the liver, but I doubt it. And he couldn't get it in.
Yeah.
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 So. And she died at 42. And that's why I was worried when Yvonne had her cancer at 42. So far, so good. Yeah. And I think Carol told me she's had several episodes of cancer, right? Carol? She said she's had skin cancer and cancer twice on an arm and I don't know what all. she showed me her arm where she had a bunch of stitches, where they did and all this. So I don't know what all that is. So it's either cancer or heart. Yeah. A lot of cards, huh?
Yeah, you got a good collection there.
But I only got about half of what I got last year.
Well, it's probably time for us to be moving on, getting the rest of our day done.
Yeah.
So
But don't forget to give Annie her present.
I won't. Are you going out to lunch?
No.
No.
I made my lunch. It's in the icebox.
Okay.
I have cottage cheese and chicken and peaches and sliced cheese on crackers.
Oh, good. Sounds good. All right.
I have one last question. So when you were at Lincoln, it was a Presbyterian church. So because it's a Presbyterian church, they baptized babies, right? So
No, they dedicate them.
at Lincoln?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My kids were all dedicated. And then at Lake Avenue, when they were in junior high, they were
Okay.
all baptized.
Okay.
Yeah, Joyce was baptized, and I know Denise was, and Yvonne was later. All of them got baptized at Lake Avenue.
Okay.
But at nighttime, but when they were little babies, they were dedicated, and one of the deacons said that dedicated them with Pastor Lowry was Frank's dad. He was a deacon.
Okay.
So his, I don't know if his name is on the certificate or not, but I know that he was the one that did that.
All right. Okay. Well, time